kind of felt there was this new industry where collaboration was so important that actually if we did it together we could achieve so much more. It's kind of just been, I mean, that's the big thing about social, isn't it? The openness.
Yeah. Actually, one of the real reasons behind Creative Social, just like to have a drink, is the fact that actually, you know, with sort of modern media and the fact that limited time, busy, Blackberries, email always on, you know, always being connected, this, that, whatever, we're always working, we're all creative people, so we're always sort of getting inspiration and being inspired. So why not make friends around that and be social around it?
One of the biggest problems in this sort of dealing with content very often, if you talk to agency people, they want to, I don't know, they want this sort of the coffee table portfolio type of book, which is, you know, it's okay if you produce it yourself and you give it away for free, but if in our role you sort of take it to the market and you try to explain first to a bookseller that is not at all your audience in the end, that it's important to be on the table and not in the shelf, and then to the audience and to spend a certain amount of money, that's almost impossible. So the kind of essential work that we do as a publisher with the books is make sure that the content is turned into a product that could work as a book.
What inspires me is people in general and how they filter information. So I go to the movies a lot, I read a lot, and I try to browse through blogs.
I'm really inspired by life itself. Sometimes I feel really inspired when I read something or do something, but I usually don't go and create immediately. So I think it's all about collecting lots of things in your head and definitely talk to people. Dialogue and working in a group.
What inspires me? I'm inspired by art. That's my passion. People like Ryan McGuinness or Thomas Demand. There's a really great site that you should go and check out. It's work.com, spelled work.com. There's always good stuff on there.
Things that inspire me are really the things that touch me, and I think I can find touching things in a cinema, or maybe in a book, or maybe in a picture. I don't know, whatever, things that really touch me.
What inspires me? Everything. Music, films, books, art, galleries, other people's work, our work sometimes. Just, yeah, life.
First of all, yeah, this is Dan, brand architecture and experience architecture, and it just, it looks very different if you see an elephant on the one side and a high glossy world on the other side. But for us, it just really comes together. Here, this is the new elephant enclosure. It's a jungle palace, a ruin, and the animals have taken over the whole ruins. And the funny thing is that a zoo visitor never really thinks about, is that an adequate environment for an animal? He always thinks, if I would be that animal, will I feel happy? That is a completely obscure way of thinking, but that is the way people think. And if they think, I'm being this elephant and I'll be happy, then actually they are ready to pay 20 euros entrance fee. They won't if they think I wouldn't be happy. So that's why the environments are really themed environments, and actually the animals are more happy.
The first thing that comes to mind is the great coat, great pockets piece of work which Farfar recently did for the Nokia N95. Fantastic production values, totally engrossing, and with a really good payoff.
It's a small microsite. It's called Wavetoshi. It's wavetoshi.co.jp. It's a Japanese company. It's like a head company. You have to explore clockwise, and it's a interesting narrative stuff.
I think the most interesting thing for me is probably some of the work that Ford has done through Radical Media. They produced a documentary series which goes under the Bold Moves banner website.
Favorite campaign for me are two things. I absolutely love the Helvetica Film project, so go to helveticafilm.com and have a look there, and also the Juiced project is going to be turning the industry upside down a little bit, I believe.
My favorite piece of work in the last 6 months was the Heidi's, which is something that an agency called Farfar in Sweden did for Diesel. And they hijacked the website and had a live webcast going on for 5 days where these girls and this guy were in an apartment. And I thought it was just unbelievable, super intelligent.
Something I've been thinking about, which is community, in the sense that it's something that people bandy around a lot. It's something that people talk about in relation to the internet. And I suppose I kind of picked up this, probably from the Creative Social, in fact, this idea that digital companies are now becoming so mature and capable that they're becoming communications agencies. So they're kind of growing. And it's really the way we talk about stuff, the innovation of digital, in one way, if you look at the kind of, what has it reinvented, it's really probably around media, in the sense that we're predicated on the fact that digital media is very cheap or free. So if you look at the sort of the value chain of communication, that's one link that we've removed, and that's possibly our innovation.
What I'd like to see happen in the digital industry in the next few months is that we stop calling ourselves the digital industry, because I think that limits us too much. And I think, you know, we talk so much about traditional agencies and, you know, traditional creative people being inside of a box, and I think by labeling ourselves, we created a box as well.
What I'd really like to see is the UK market start to actually perform to its true potential. I think there's a lot of, you know, there's sort of between 5 and 8 really top companies, and they haven't really sort of broken onto a worldwide level yet by creating some truly, you know, awesome pieces of work. That would be great if sort of 1 or 2 of us could actually step it up so that the whole world looks around and sees the UK as a sort of, you know, a talent pool to be reckoned with, and that would be cool.
In the next 12 months, the big challenge for digital is actually crossing over into the physical world. So things which begin in digital but end up actually affecting real life.
I think there's a role for the digital industry to become very useful for people. I think there's an element of people playing with the great digital toys that we have and producing richer and richer experiences. But I think fundamentally in a time-pressed society, I think where digital agencies and marketers and brands can create value using digital technology, I think there's a good win there for consumers, and with that a good win there for brands and the companies around them.
I think what I would like for the digital industry to happen is to be less about the internet. I don't think the internet is about the internet anymore, so I think we need to look at other things and explode ideas out into other areas.
I was boasting slightly at the end of the century that I'm included in this Fiden book, Ice Cream, which is meant to be a survey of 100 of the world's top emerging artists who haven't really had any shows yet. So I'm one of these 100 artists, but you know, I feel like a complete fraud. I feel like the art world has made a mistake putting me in this book, and that they will discover that eventually, sooner than later perhaps. But for me, because I'm also an artist with no prices, I'm basically a performance artist, and I haven't figured out a way, perhaps if any of you can suggest a way I could monetize my performances, speak to me later, but I haven't found a way to charge people for these performances. Maybe you can sell certificates or videos or whatever people do, but I kind of like the idea of not having a way to, you know, the idea of being an artist without prices, which is not the same thing as being an artist without price or priceless or anything like that, but it's kind of nice because everybody's very cynical about the art world precisely because of the money, and it's meant to be evil and it's meant to be real precisely because of the money. So somehow if you can keep it non-evil and unreal by not having any monetary, you know, any price tag on your art, you can keep a childish sense of glamour.
Our kind of objective now is to actually try and widen Creative Social to actually inspire others. And while we can't do the events, which are massive because the whole point is they're small, we can at least through the blog give people that feeling of different cultures by getting people talking about different things and actually seeing what's going on and what's on the cutting edge. And it's a small thing, but it will help.